So we're finally here. We're bringing you the very first video of our 8 videos reviewing Sign of the Times Super Deluxe. Hey everybody, welcome back to Prince's Friend, exploring music through Prince. And this one is a long time coming. I've been having a lot of fun listening to this album. I feel like it was released about a month ago, so, you know, I feel like with something this huge, it requires taking your time going through it all, so I didn't want to just like jump on it and just start going crazy and just, you know, just giving you just my first gut reaction as opposed to sitting and really digesting the music and really kind of like consuming it, making it a part of my soul, and then handling it from there, right? So this will be the first of, again, 8 videos that'll be coming in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and this particular video is going to cover essentially the remaster of Sign of the Times and the 3rd disc, which contained all of the B-sides and extended cuts and stuff. So buckle up, and if you like reviews like this, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, so you always know when Prince's Friend releases a new video. And as always, this channel wouldn't be possible without all of our awesome supporters. Check out our wall of gratitude at the end of the video. It has all of our YouTube supporters as well as our Patreon. Go to patreon.com/princessfriend or hit the join button here. There's links in the description as well, and definitely check it out because it really helps us out here. All right, so let's go ahead and start discussing the album itself, Sign of the Times. It's one of the biggest, most popular. A lot of people feel like it is Prince's like magnum opus. It was his best work in '86. I don't know. Weird how he had his best work, you know, really early on, but that's neither here nor there. But this is one that I actually kind of predicted. I'd said if they were going to go with, you know, the fans, that they were going to definitely do the Super Deluxe for Sign of the Times. If they were going for money, then they were going to do it for Diamonds and Pearls, but I'm glad that they did it for Sign of the Times. It's one of those eras that Prince even like dipped some into on the Crystal Ball release from the mid-90s. And honestly, when I heard that, and there were just a ton of songs on there, I was like, what else is there gonna be? But apparently there was lots more. Comparing the remaster to the old version, I feel like Sign of the Times was one of those albums that didn't necessarily need a remaster in terms of the quality of stuff, because I feel like Prince did a pretty good job with putting the original one down. But just levels and just like volume levels, that's kind of the most important thing. Now I can actually listen to Sign of the Times alongside other music without having to be constantly adjusting the volume and whatnot. It seems like some of the stuff has been mixed slightly better, and what that does is it makes it sound just a little bit cleaner, just a little bit overall better. And just like other remasters, that they've done, I remember the one that really stood out the most to me was for 1999, that remaster, because I felt like the job that they did on the remaster really did a lot to change the way that it sounded. It emphasized certain instruments and put other ones in the background. You couldn't hear his voice as good. So they definitely did some of that on the other. In this case, on Sign of the Times, I really didn't hear a whole lot of that. Everything seemed very balanced. I only noticed that there were a couple of points where the keyboards kind of got drowned out by some of the bass. So there were a couple of spots there. Specifically on the title track, Sign of the Times, there's a certain point in the song where the gets a little bit lost, even though I remember it kind of being there in the original. But I will say that Eric Leeds needs to thank whoever it was who did the remaster on this album, because if there is one instrument that does not get drowned out and does not get lost in the mix, it's the saxophone. The saxophone, and I would say to a lesser degree the trumpet. Sometimes the trumpet did get lost, but the saxophone is front and center on like every track. Like much louder than even it was before. Like you just hear it with crystal clearness, and that's not a bad thing. I enjoy Eric Leeds sax playing, but it's very, very prominent. But I would say overall, unless you are like really like looking for differences and using a fine-tooth comb to really like get like to the bottom of it, I feel like this really is just a wonderful enhancement to the listening experience of Sign of the Times. I not even once felt that this was a downgrade. It is definitely an upgrade. Even with a few differences that I pointed out here and there, it really is a much, much better listening experience. And obviously, I'll point you to my actual review for Sign of the Times if you want. I'm not going to go through the album itself like each of the songs, but I will say go watch that video and then watch my top 5 songs from Sign of the Times video. I've talked about Sign of the Times like a lot. I will say, even though it is enhanced, it is slightly different. Nothing was like ruined or anything, but it is a slightly different listening experience, but not one that I feel like Prince would dislike. I feel like it kind of brings it to the same kind of feel as some of his later albums. What I'll say too is I know a lot of people have seen my We Don't Need the Camille album to be released, although I also do appreciate the idea that some people who collect LPs want to be able to just put the record on and just hit, put the needle on it and then just be done and just listen to it in that sequence and that feeling. For me, since I am a CD listener, I'm like, oh, well, I have all the tracks now and I'll just throw it in my own playlist. It'll be called the Camille playlist and call it a day. So now going to the B-sides and extended cuts and the limited cuts and all of that stuff, I actually really enjoyed going through this particular disc because they gave us some very different things as opposed to, hey, here's an extended version, here's a short version, here's an extended version, here's a short version. I feel like we actually, we did get that too, but we got some different things on here too. I'm not going to go over the tracks that were just, the 7-inch cuts, the limited cuts, because that's just the same song but cut. So I'm not going to go over those. But what I will say is that none of them stopped abruptly or had any weird transitions. Those 7-inch cuts, like, they stopped at a logical place. They either faded out or, something to that effect. And I feel like they did a better job with making these, like, single cuts than they did, like, Purple Rain or 1999 songs, which really kind of felt very jilted. And we won't even start talking about the Batman radio edit. Oh my gosh. But none of them are jarring. They just kind of fade out. And again, I feel like they're in logical places. So that means we're going to talk about 6 tracks in this video. Let's go ahead and jump into that. So the first one, it's track 3, and it's the La 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 He 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 Highly Explosive. Really, if you just start listening to it, it sounds like it's going to be the same song. There's just a certain part kind of in the middle where he takes like a separate kind of tirade and just starts going crazy on the keyboard and the guitar. And then you're like, oh, well, that was interesting. And then it returns back to, like the original song kind of cut. And then at the end, there's like 4 or 5 minutes of like him playing on the bass and just like funky drums. And it really kind of goes a long way to really enhancing this song. La 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 He 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 was never necessarily like one of my all-time favorite Prince songs, but I really, really like this extended version. I will say probably the bass part specifically, because I really like are you just gonna play the same bass part over and over? Nah. Let's do this. So I really dug that, because really the song did have the same bass part over and over until that part, which is not a bad thing. Sometimes repetition is good. There's joy in repetition. Track 6 is Shockadelica, and kind of falls within the same kind of realm of La 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 He He He. Shockadelica is one of those songs that like people love, and I like it a lot. However, I really enjoyed this extended cut. It's called the 12-inch long version. I feel like it kind of takes you in a bunch of different directions, which I liked. And there's like this cool kind of like rap that he does like near the end. There's some good stuff in the Shockadelica extended, long 12-inch version. And this was one that actually I did not have. The La 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 He 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 I actually heard before, but the Shockadelica one, for some reason, I did not have that one. So that was a really fun one to add to my collection and be able to hear the extended version of that. So yes, very, very happy. Then track 7 is the You Got the Look long look. And honestly, this one was weird because I thought it was just going to be the extra part before it goes into it. It kind of... And I thought that's all it was going to be, was just that part at the beginning, you know, from Sign of the Times, the movie. But it ended up that not only that, but there was some additional stuff in the middle, and then it just goes and goes, you know, at the end as well. I feel like this one, though, I think it's one of those that doesn't necessarily benefit from having a whole ton of extra stuff. I feel like La La La, He He He, and to a lesser degree, Shockadelica, both of them, I felt like they left you really, really wanting more. And with the extended cut, you get the more, and you're like, whoa, this is amazing. I feel like You Got the Look was such a complete song that the additional stuff that you get on the long look, I don't know if it adds too much. It's kind of like the extended Delirious from 1999 Deluxe, and it felt like it was extraneous, like it felt like it was cut for a reason, to me. So I would say like that's not really necessarily one of my favorite longer versions, but I'm very happy to have it. Track 9 is Housequake 7 Minutes MoQuake. Now this one was really fun. This one was the one that was more of a departure. It wasn't just a different version, or it wasn't cut, or it wasn't longer. It was just more of that beat and then just instrumental like riffing and remixing his voice, and I don't know, it was just honestly a lot of fun. I feel like it's a lot of fun for people who don't necessarily enjoy the album version of Housequake, but they like the song. Like, I'm more for the concert version than the album version. We'll talk more about that later on when we start talking about the live disc. But I felt like this one really had, like, it had a lot of energy, and I felt like it even had more energy than the album cut. It felt more like it was that concert feeling to it. So I really enjoyed it. It's like, it's just 7 minutes of just MoQuake. Then we get the Hot Thing Extended Remix, and that one, this is another one of those that I felt like really benefited from having the extra stuff there for Hot Thing, even though Hot Thing, kind of like what I was saying with You Got the Look, it is more of a complete song, even in its original form, but I feel like he went in a lot of really interesting directions with the extended cut. So bravo, Prince. Bravo on an extended cut. I really enjoyed it quite a bit. Honestly, the extended Hot Thing makes it, like, that's really what I think clinches the entire kind of set. Like, the other ones were, like, good, and I feel like the Hot Thing Extended is just like, that's amazing.
Tell me what you see, hot thing, when you smile,
Then the last one, it's track 13, they give you the Hot Thing dub version, and I thought it was good. It was essentially like playing around with the vocals and stuff, but, you know, hot thing. So that was kind of fun. I don't think that it was, you know, 100% necessary, but, you know, it's good. You know, more Hot Thing. It's one of my favorite songs, so. But I enjoyed both of them back to back, but if I had to pick one, I would say the extended remix is probably better. But I enjoyed the dub version. It plays around with a little bit more of the keyboards and stuff, so I really liked it. The dub version is amazing. All right, well, that is all that we have to talk about today for part 1. That actually covers the first 3 discs, which is quite a bit, actually. But in the next video, we're going to be starting on some of the vault tracks, so stay tuned for that. And obviously, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. Don't forget to follow us on social media at PrincessFriendYT. Check out becoming a supporter, either a YouTube member or a patron. And may you live to see the dawn. I love you all. See you in part 2.